Hello and welcome to our final episode of Access Paranormal of 2024. In this episode, we revisit the investigation I participated in with Haunted Scousers Chris Cummings, Adam Billings and their special guests at Mill Street Barracks. Later on, Junior Paranormal Events will share their spooky adventures from 2024. And then to wrap things up, we have Jack-o'-lantern's ghost stories. But first, let's jump back into the second part of our investigation with Haunted Scouse. I think that's one of the best evidences I've seen here.
It took a lot to do it.
It's like you said though, Jamie, there was no footsteps towards it or away from it. It was just the...
It'd be really good if when you play back your recording you can hear it banging.
I'll definitely listen to that. Yeah. If I picked it up...
Taylor. So
These
Thompson,
are all names,
Taylor.
These are all surnames, aren't they?
Well, if I pick that audio up, Chris, I'll send you the copy.
Yeah, and obviously I'll ping you the picture as soon as we finish later.
I might use the picture for the poster.
Yeah.
Taylor as in T-A-Y or T-A-I-L?
T-A-Y as in the name rather than the trade.
I wonder if they'll be on that list that you've got there. Johnson, Thompson, Taylor.
I had a look if the list was there. The list's been removed from the wall, but
Chaos.
I can ask for chaos.
Chaos. That's Haunted Scouse for you. It's not been too bad tonight though. A few of the usual rabble are missing. Gina's not here. That's it.
Possessed.
You knew that was coming.
Possessed. No, she's not possessed. She just
Well,
just never does as she's told. I give up.
That's a good thing.
But that said,
Has anybody
though,
just swung their feet here?
No.
It's been me.
No. It was like dead fast here.
No.
It was like a shadowy kind of movement.
Using my voice.
And then it went quickly.
No, my feet are still.
Okay.
please use your voice.
No, this was just here.
No.
Because I thought somebody must have swung their foot up and put it back down dead quick. Don't know why.
Show us you're here. Use your voice. Communicate with us.
Emma.
Emma.
Hello, Emma. The atmosphere is changing down here.
Mm-hmm.
In what way?
I don't know, it's just...
It's feeling dark.
She's gone darker.
I think that darker feeling as well, wasn't
Mm.
it?
I feel on edge.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It does feel like something's going to
Perhaps
happen.
that falls.
Yeah, right, you're right. Soul's building.
are you out there watching us?
Use your energy to light up the gadgets on the floor.
Right here. Burning. Ah. You've got the hotter
Do you like us being down here? If you don't, you need to do something to make us know that you're angry that we're here. We can feel you, everyone.
Hospital.
Hospital.
TV.
Yeah, it was.
Mm.
Is that why you're angry? Is this just because you're upset? Because something happened to you? Because you were ill?
If someone is here, can you maybe...
There's a shapeshifter.
Oh,
Who's that?
Shapeshifter.
It ain't me.
Can you touch one of the devices that are in the room? Maybe the device that's in the
Just
cot?
means I get cold, isn't it?
It's getting
Yeah.
freezing.
Temperature
I was
shot.
comfortable before, but I am freezing now.
Starts to shiver.
We're not here to insult you or hurt you, so please show us some respect as well.
It's my stomach. Are you just trying to let us know you're here? Because I did say, didn't I, if you can communicate in any way that you can do, what you can do. I said that wrong, didn't I? If you can do something to try and communicate with us, if there's a way you can do it, please feel free to. If it's pushing a chair over, or touching one of us, or moving a table, or anything like that, that's absolutely fine.
Grave.
Grave.
Are you able to do something? Are you able to tell us if that was you that pushed the chair over?
Where were the typhoid victims buried then?
TV.
Their TV.
I don't know, because this was just the hospital part, so I don't know where they went from there. But you do know that you're sitting where this was a makeshift mortuary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot.
What was that?
That was me. No, that was me laughing.
No, it went.
No, that's a flash.
I heard a noise.
All right.
It went.
I think I see the flash through there.
Kai gave a little laugh because of my mum.
No,
No.
I heard the laugh. It was just a.
I heard that too, Jane.
Thank you.
I might be on
Bloody hell, no, it's cold down here now.
No. Are you trying to communicate with us?
I'm going to have to cover up my festive spirit here and zip my jacket.
We've had our festive spirits.
Well,
Zipped up
truly
all
could.
night.
Please come into the room and talk to us.
We're gathering.
We can feel you.
How many of you are there?
Please go right.
Oh, blimey.
I love that when you sat in a circle.
Yeah. When it's a gathering, one lot looks that way and we look this way.
Temperature's definitely dropped.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
legs
it's
are
all
freezing
yeah.
all of a sudden now. It's like a breeze.
Yeah.
If you can see us, if you can, are you able to tell us how many of us you can see?
Oh my
Can
God,
anyone
it's cold.
feel anything around the legs?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
literally.
Breeze.
Yeah.
It's gone like ice here.
But it's a breeze.
It's like
That's the
swirling
difference
breeze.
now.
Tiny bit, there are enough bubbles then.
Yeah.
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 I'll put my hat over my ears. I'll have to lift it up again so I can actually hear what's going on.
That knock was like just one footstep, wasn't it, on the boards above?
Above, yeah.
Mm.
Can you do that again, please, if you can?
It'll be interesting with one knock. Potentially the cat ball falling off.
No, it sounded... Cat balls have got a distinctly clinking sound, haven't they? It's more like just one...
Helpless.
Is that how you felt? Is that how you feel?
Can you hear us? And that sounds a silly question. But can you hear some of us?
It's definitely took on a different edge now.
Mm.
I mean, I spent the night sleeping in Ronnie Garth Hospital a couple of weeks back, and if you asked me to do sleepover in here right now, I'd tell you where to go.
Do you feel me?
Yeah, I think we all feel you, yes. You making it cold?
If you are here, can you warm it up, please?
Can you walk towards us and light one of the lights up out there? And there's a device with a red light on in here. You can walk up to that, and if you can shout your name into there as well, please.
Whereabouts are you? Please come into the room. Is there somebody in this room that you'd like to talk to?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. If you're in the room now with us, can you go to someone who you want to communicate with or talk to? Is there someone in here that you can show that you're here? Don't need to be afraid of any of us. Can you make any of the lights go off? And if you look outside, there's some balls on the floor. What was
That
what?
voice. Like a voice, wasn't it? Yeah, the voice.
It sounds like an electronic voice.
Yeah. It's like a male voice, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Must have been over that
It's
side.
darker and darker in the corridor.
Is it?
Even with that light, it just seems
Mm.
going on there.
It's not as dark first.
It's actually freezing in the cold.
Construct.
If you think about it though, if they were from a time where this was one big
Your
cell,
presence is a gift.
Thank you.
if at one time this was just one big cellar,
Please
they
use
wouldn't
it
recognise
wisely.
these walls and
Yeah,
things like that, would they? So when we're saying coming through the door,
exactly.
they would be thinking what
yeah.
door?
They literally just stood there in the middle of the room,
Looking at.
and we're saying coming through the door, and they're like, "What door, soft lad?"
Yeah.
Mm.
Thanks, Chris.
But no, I was just having the same thought myself. It's like you're trying to, we're seeing it as we're seeing it,
Mm.
and the spirits see it as they saw it, and that's why we see spirits. Those lucky enough to see a ghost might see it walk through a wall. Well, they're not walking through a wall, they're walking through a passageway, or they're walking across a room.
Well, if this
Yeah.
was a wide
Mm.
open space, it depends how far back you go, doesn't it?
That's what I
Mm.
mean. This literally was a wide open space. That's what those metal columns in the centre are holding it up.
Mm.
Yeah.
These walls and that were put in for classrooms. They didn't use these as classrooms.
Yeah. No ghosts. If they're from different ages, but they haunt the same place.
Yeah.
Can you see one another?
Madam.
Or
Madam. I mean, potentially,
can
but
you see?
I mean,
see
according
each
to
other?
the BBC, they can,
Yeah.
because that's a brilliant programme, Ghosts. It's like, for every person that passes away on that plot of land is destined to haunt
Mm.
that plot of land until they move on in the spirit world,
Yeah.
and they can't leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. As one of the characters says, until they get sucked off.
Yeah.
That's one of my favourite programmes.
Honestly,
I thought you
yeah.
were going to say something else.
Yeah.
But it does make me wonder, like, would the spirits be aware of another spirit? Can they interact on that plane? Or again, my counterbalance lift theory, does that mean that they never actually occupy the same space at the same time?
Mm.
Because
What about the theories where we say
Stroke.
somebody is trying to talk to us and somebody's stopping them?
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, quite
Mm.
often, when places are haunted by children, and there's always someone that's trying to keep,
Yeah.
that they're scared of.
Like the lodge, isn't it?
Yeah.
That woman.
But they're not necessarily from the same time, are they? Because it would be quite coincidental that they all died at the same time and were all haunting at the same time.
But my theory on spirits is there's different planes. Like like
Mm.
we live now, but one day we're all going to pass away and we're going to end up where these people are now, where these spirits are now, and
You've got to go
our
through
family's
some-
going to move on.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we're different in generations, and I think spirits are generations. So when we move across,
Mm.
the spirits are over there. Because how many people contact cavemen?
Yeah.
None.
Mm.
None. How many people contact Romans?
Yeah,
I know people say they've seen Roman
There's a
Yeah.
soldiers,
theory
but
on
they've
that.
always
Do you
been
remember,
like.
Chris, at Caroline, do you remember when Richard Felix was doing the talk about that?
Yeah.
And he reckons it's something to do with believing in God and the Bible,
Mm.
that these people, before the God and the Bible, you don't hear from them because
some people, since the Bible, are like too scared to move over because they're scared of going to hell or
Battle.
that sort of thing.
Battle.
Yeah, and before the Bible, they don't come back because they've moved over. Does that make sense? I
Yeah.
think that's how Richard feels.
So Richard Felix was basically saying, it's like they say, you don't see ghosts of cavemen because they weren't intelligent. And he was saying, hang on, these people weren't intelligent. He said, but they worshipped the sun because they knew that the sun gave life, and they knew that the sun created crops, and you could tell the time of the year by the sun. But when the sun disappeared, that's when they started to light bonfires because they thought they had to create a sun. So they had the intelligence to know that source of light was important. And then, as Suzanne just said, he said, but when it comes to ghosts, maybe ghosts are restless spirits, and until religion existed, which was a created thing, and no disrespect to anybody who is religious, but it was a created thing, all of a sudden people had something to fear. So if you didn't think you'd been good enough because you were so deeply religious, you thought, oh, but I stole that loaf of bread when I was 8, and I'm now 58. But I'm going to go to hell because I stole that loaf of bread because of my deep religious beliefs. That restless spirit doesn't want to go to hell. So they refuse, and they stay on that spiritual plane, and they become, what we are here, who we are here trying to communicate.
We like your equipment.
Thank you.
But if you think cavemen were intelligent for that time, for that era.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but isn't there a caveman in Cold Stones Park that people see?
Yeah.
But what
The
I mean
rocks
there
there with the
is,
drawing.
like he was born a caveman. Does he actually see other cavemen? Can he see other ghosts from different periods of time?
Yeah.
Nicholas.
Well, if you think about us now, we're sitting here in the
As
dark.
in the name, not as in bare arse, by the way.
If you think about us now, we people have seen Victorians, people have seen Roman soldiers up in York, so they must be able to see different eras. Like we can see them.
Yeah.
Surely they can see other things the same as we. Because if they're not seeing us or not communicating with us, why are we sitting here? So there must be something where we can communicate with afterlife somehow. How?
The stone tape theory, haven't you?
Yeah.
There's like, you got the intelligent ghost that can interact, and you've got the stone tape theory where it's just something's just repeating itself.
Well, if you
So
think,
they're not really aware that something's just repeating itself.
if you think of us now, we've got video recorders.
Yeah.
So in hundreds of years from now, when people are looking at our videos, they're seeing ghosts because we don't exist anymore. They're seeing us when we're alive, but they're seeing ghosts because we don't exist. So if you think of the stone tape theory, it's more or less what we've got now with our recordings.
Stay and talk.
Oh, wow.
We are.
You're
Well,
welcome
they're
to
very
listen.
interested in this conversation.
Or is there not a lot of ghosts around because the people that move over get reincarnated? There's some people who get reincarnated so many times, don't they? You come back to learn life's lessons.
But why are we
Maybe if
reincarnated?
you move over, then you get reincarnated. That's why you don't see so many, I don't know. I don't know, because there's all kinds of different
Evolution.
There are more people now than there were, aren't there? So you would never run out of people. Well, they reckon there's new spirits, don't they? New spirits, and then people have been come back so many times, and then you stay where you are. Well, that's what the Richard that believes something, was it? Yeah.
But you know what gets me is like, now Bow Street, there's people said that they've gone back to different times.
Time slips.
Time slips, right? Now, they go back to other people's times, but can those people who actually lived in that time, can they see them?
Yeah, because they interact with them.
Yeah, but you don't, there's never stories where they interact or anything like that, is there?
Yeah.
I have never read
Riddle.
any.
Riddle.
Wow.
Yeah, because I see where Mark's coming from, and that's always been my curiosity, is that whilst those that go back from, say, the 90s to the 70s or 60s, say they might have bought saw a newspaper there's no story from the 1950s of someone who saw someone, or you do get the odd one. I saw someone from the future.
Seen people with mobile phones, sort
Yeah.
of like back in the 60s or something, and the stories where they've seen some of like devices that we have now that they didn't have then.
Because I mean, I kind of think it's like, my theory on somewhere like Bold Street is the actual, because the street has remained so original, a lot of the features, is that where the energy comes in? So the street becomes the ghost. It's like, so you're seeing the street as it was, so it's not so much about seeing the era, it's just that there's an energy to that street that
It's like a hologram.
that's got to be
Time's
Adam.
only a dimension, isn't it?
That sounded like Adam.
He'd say your name, wouldn't he, Chris? So if you wanted you.
It sounded like Adam, so I'm fully expecting him to come through again, and that was just a weak signal.
Well, yeah, years ago, when I used to live in Highton, it sounds strange, but I was in bed, and there was buildings.
I killed people.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
There was houses being
Yeah, go
built
on,
behind
mate.
us all. You know, these townhouses.
Mine have a bit of free time.
And
Yeah, no worries, mate. Go for
one
it.
night, they had like a cocky watchman in there, you know, like a security fella. One night,
If
I
anyone's
woke
going
up
up
and
onto
heard-
that balcony, mate, please tell them to be careful.
Heard
Because
all
we've
the
got about
noises.
250 quid's worth
So I
of
looked
kids
out the
sitting
bedroom
around.
window and I could see fellas with looked like grinders to me, you know, and all sparks and everything else. I thought, hold on, there's a fella in there on his own. I literally called the police and told them what was going on. The police went down, I could see the police, and he brought dogs with them, he brought big torches with them, shining everywhere. So I thought, right, okay, they're in there now, they must have caught the people. I went back to sleep, got up the next morning, went round to see the fella, because I knew the fella who was on the site. And I said, are you alright? He went, yeah, why? I said, I called the police. He said, you called them? I said, yeah. I said, there was 5 or 6 fellas in here, and he said, there was sparks everywhere. I said, I thought you were getting robbed. I said, you were on. I said, Jimmy, there was no one in here last night. He said, it was raining. I said, which you knew anyway. And he said, there wasn't a mark on the ground. He said, the police went everywhere with the dogs in the rooms, everything. He said, nothing happened. He said, they were out there now. They weren't. There was nothing. And he said, yeah, I'll take you over to the shed with all the tools, and not a mark on it, a brand new shed thing.
What do you
Nothing.
think it was then?
Well,
Like an enactment or something that happened.
well, I spoke to someone, and he said to me, that's a time slip.
Yeah.
And I went, well, why would it be a time slip? It's a field. Where the building, there was nothing there. It was just derelict land. It was just a
Where was that?
in Highton Quarry. When we looked into it, Tushin brickworks were built there. And then what happened then?
Right, there goes another couple
We
of
found,
chairs.
we found some of the templates, you know, where they made
That
the
was a
bricks
similar
out of.
sound, though, thinking about it. Yeah.
So that's what happened to me. And
That's really
There's
good.
no footsteps, Chris.
we reckon there's a time slip.
No, there is now. If you
No,
can't hear
before.
them.
I think we've all seen
Oh, not
it,
for the
but
first,
we've
not for the first one. I thought you meant
Not
them. I was going to
registered
say,
it.
fuck
I
me,
think
Mark,
it's
your
happened
hearing's well gone
to
there.
everyone, but
Yeah.
What?
you know,
I thought you meant
then.
No.
We just said, oh, I must have been dreaming, or
Dream.
I've imagined it.
But I could see it happening.
But Jamie,
Yeah.
so Adam's released his group into the wild, so for the as we put it, so for the purpose of your radio show, should we wrap this up before
Yeah.
we get invaded?
Yeah. So I'm going to say to Chris and his team of paranormal investigators, thanks for letting me record you tonight. I really appreciate it. We've got some cracking evidence.
Yeah.
And if anything else happens tonight, we'll put another show out with another investigation on it. So from Scouse, Haunted Scouse, and his gang, thanks very much, and I hope you've enjoyed listening to us.
And
Yeah.
thank you,
Yeah,
Jamie.
cheers, Jamie. Thank you very much, mate.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If you're going to put a light on, guys, so watch your eyes.
Oh my God. So that was the night we had with Adam Billing, Chris Cummings, Haunted Scouse, down there in Mill Street Barracks, along with the guests, I've got to say. And what a fantastic night we had. From the chair falling over, unable to explain that, and a few other things. And we had a sound which we didn't hear until I picked it up on the headphones when I was listening to it. So if you want to play, if you go onto YouTube and go to Access Paranormal Radio, that show's on there now. So if you have a listen to it, you may hear what I'm talking about with the sound of a voice, and also you'll hear the chair dropping as well. But huge thank you to Chris Cummings, Adam Billings of Haunted Scouse. Coming up in a second, we've also got the Junior Paranormal Events with their Spooky Adventures, the final one for 2024. So they'll be reporting back on what the year's been like for them. And then after that, we've also got Jack-o'-lanterns, great, well, not great, but ghost stories, fantastic ghost stories. But let's go across now to Junior Paranormal Events and their Spooky Adventures.
Hello, this is Gemma,
Michael,
Aubrey,
Finlay,
and we have our dog Poppy here with us this evening. We are, of course, Junior Paranormal Events, the only non-profit group that focus solely on providing paranormal education and paranormal experiences for children and young people. So this is our Spooky Adventures. We've been doing this for a few months now with the lovely Jamie at Access Paranormal podcast. So Jamie asked us if we would do a reflection of 2024 and have a little look at where 2025 is going to take us. But before we get started, I just, on a personal level, wanted to say a special message, really. So as we do this now, it's Christmas Eve.
So the 23rd.
Yeah, the 23rd of December. We know there are people close to us for whom Christmas is going to be a difficult time this year. People who are connected with Junior Paranormal, people who are connected with our families. We know that Christmas is going to be a difficult time this year. So we're purposely not making this segment about gloating about our achievements. It's more a reflection of our personal experiences more than anything. Around this time of year, you do see lots of people who put these big posts out about look at us and look how marvellous we are and look at our achievements, and that's fine. But for us this year, we recognise that quite a few people who are close to us, for them, just getting through 2024 has been an achievement in itself. So we just wanted to set that tone from the start, and we send spooky love to everyone and anyone at this time of year. So what we're going to do is each of us is going to go around, and first of all we're going to share our favourite location that we've visited this year, and then we're going to go around and talk about our most memorable experiences this year, and then we're going to finish off by saying what 2025 is going to bring. So let's start with Michael. Over to you, Michael.
Yeah, so my favourite location this year was Steelhouse Lane in Birmingham. The fact that it's a jail as well as it is like holding cells for the courthouse. It was a jail for a short amount of time while Manchester Prison was being Strangeways was being refurbished. But yeah, the whole place, the atmosphere in it, the fact that we can go into cells, we can also do quite a big group vigils in there between all of us across different levels to hear things. Yeah, and the fact that it's in the city centre and you don't get any other outside noise or interference, it does lead itself to being a really good location.
The team there are always lovely as well.
Yeah.
Helen, who's the one that we always have contact with, they're just such a lovely team. They've been so encouraging and supporting of us from the get-go, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. And it just, the whole thing means it's a really nice location for us to have, and I enjoy going there.
Lovely. Aubrey.
So my favourite location was Gweck Castle. It was really good there, and I liked how the structure was. It was nice and old, and it was like well kept. Like it's got the ruins, like some of them where you can walk up. Like they had an ice tower, but we weren't able to go up there. But it's really nice in how they bring back. Still got its history in it.
It's ruins, a lot of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's connected with I'm a Celebrity.
Yeah.
They did it there, didn't they? At
Yeah,
one point.
and I do like going to Wales. So.
But it's the fact that it's all is just like the bare bones of everything.
It is a cool
Yeah.
location, but you have to be so lucky with the weather there, don't you? Could you imagine doing it there if it rained?
It'd be alright if you had like loads of umbrellas.
A lot of walking.
A lot of
So
walking.
it'd be a good venue for the summertime when the sun's out, there's no clouds.
This is Wales we're talking about.
Yeah.
Finley.
So my favourite location is Eden Camp up near Scarborough, or Malton. Just because it gives people an idea on what it was like during the war.
Yeah. And you're military connected now, aren't you, with being in the Air Cadets?
Yeah.
And we also have
Family
members who served in the military as well. And yeah.
The good thing about it as well is there is so many places to investigate. There,
absolutely.
isn't there? There's lots and lots of places to go, and we never actually get round it all. I don't think, do we, Lynn?
And there's places where we can just spread out and we can space
really
ourselves
cool
out in like
location.
3 little groups.
Yeah. And if you haven't yet picked up the copy of Haunted magazine, edition number 44, we have just written about Eden Camp in that. We did have to be very, very careful as to what we put in there. And I want to give a big thank you to Nick and the team at Eden Camp for their support in writing their article, because I know in the past people have put misinformation out about Eden Camp. So I was very careful to correct that, wasn't I? And Nick proofread it for me and approved it all, and they were wonderful. I do need to get that sent out to them, actually. But is it my turn now?
Your turn, Gemma.
I have to. Everybody always hears me talk about it, but for me, my favourite location is Champness Hall. It's always going to be. I feel like I've got a connection with that building in that I feel like I'm supposed to be there. And the more time I'm spending there, we've been there for 3 years now, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we're still finding
The
out
more
stuff.
time I'm spending there, and especially with this year with us becoming trustees, the more that connection with the building is growing. And hands down, it's just a wonderful building, and I love nothing more than going sitting in there and just soaking up the atmosphere. Jamie and Marie actually have been in there a couple of times themselves, and I know last time they came in, which was over the summer, just before we went away, and we did some investigating, and Marie and I both saw something absolutely incredible on the upper level of the auditorium, and it was amazing.
But the rest of our team love it as well.
Our juniors love it.
And every time we've done something at Champness Hall, there's always been something different happen. So it's not all the same.
There is the spirits in there. I always do say whenever I talk about it, the more they get to know you, the more they show themselves. And just this year, actually, we've had some new spirits that have popped up. Yeah, we have a gentleman called George, who's popped up in the hall.
Also known as a phantom clapper.
Also known as the clapper.
We've had
and
a dog that's been...
A dog, yeah. But Shadow Man John's intensified slightly, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Seems to be with more of the group as well. When
Yeah.
they go up there, don't they?
Yeah, so hands down Champness Hall. So I think we're coming on to our most memorable experiences now. So Michael, back to you.
So my most memorable experience this year wasn't an experience I had, but it was an experience at Jedburgh Jail, where we had one of our guests, one of our younger guests. They had an experience in one of the cells, and me being quite sceptical and wanting to open to see if I could debunk it or if it's just a personal experience, I got some of the other juniors who didn't know what had gone on, and I got a junior to go in there at a time. And the funny thing is, there was out of the 6 other juniors, the following 5 juniors that went in after this, the first junior, that all reported and had the same feeling each time they went in, and they were only in the room for like 30 seconds, but each one felt a tightening on the chest each time. The funny thing was, the adults didn't feel that one bit. Quite a few adults went in, was nothing. But yeah, the conditions were because each child junior didn't know what the other one had done, so I'd made sure I'd kept them separate. But yeah, no, the fact I can't say how they all actually said the exact same thing, and to me that was quite a paranormal experience that everybody else was having.
It was.
That I couldn't explain.
Aubrey?
So it wasn't a paranormal thing, but visiting East Drive. That was just
East Drive, not a paranormal thing.
Like, visiting the place, I mean, it does have a vibe in there. And some rooms feel a bit odd than the other. But we did have a bit of a paranormal thing happen there while we was there. There was some weird noises and this rose fell off. So it was very interesting, the place, and I'm excited to go there.
Yeah, so we had the opportunity to go and do a site visit last weekend.
Yes.
Because we're going to be using East Drive in partnership with Haunted Happenings last year.
Last year?
Next year. Next year. Sorry, I'm losing track of time. So we had the opportunity to go and do a site visit with the lovely Michael, who was running an event there, and it was cool, wasn't it?
It was a bit odd, but
It's the most bizarre location I think I've ever
Yeah, it's so strange.
been to.
It was the fact that from the front of it, it's just a humble council house. And I think the time of year made it even stranger because you had Carol next door who had all her Christmas lights out in the garden. And she had, like, Christmas music going off and stuff. And then you had East Drive right next to it. You know, number 30 next to it. But what did we watch the next day, Aubrey?
when the lights went out.
Yeah, we watched when the lights went out the next day. Finley, your most memorable experience?
So my most memorable experience was actual last event of 2024 when Richard Felix was experimenting with that kit, and when he was experimenting table tipping.
That was cool. See,
Yeah.
we don't do table tipping as a rule, but when Richard Felix asked you to table tip, you sort of table tip, don't you? And the gentleman that you had coming through.
Yeah.
William
Buxton.
Buxton, yeah.
But he wasn't letting any of the women
No, we didn't like the women.
touching, having the fingers on the table.
No. It's me now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I hadn't thought about it. I've just been making sure you guys had yours. I think my most memorable experience this year has been the personal stuff that I've been experiencing. So I have always, from being young, had a bit of an intuition about things, and I have been told I have quote unquote the gift. It's in both sides, maternal and paternal grandparents, and I've not done anything with it because I don't want to, quite honestly. It freaks me out. But this year I've had several experiences where I have managed to pull out information that there's no way I could possibly know it. And then it's been confirmed by other people. So at St. Augustine's Lighthouse, I had an encounter with a female spirit. I could see her in my mind's eye. I could hear what she was saying. She was very, very distressed. That was the first most significant time that has happened. And after it, I went and spoke to one of the tour guides, didn't I? And repeated everything that she'd said to me. And he was quite taken aback, I think it's safe to say.
Oh yeah, at St. Augustine.
Yeah, at St. Augustine's Lighthouse. He was very
It was starting to shake.
He did say you've just given me chills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember.
But then I had it happen again at a location in Scotland, which I'm not going to name, because they asked me not to. And then I've had it again. I had something happen at East Drive last week actually, but I'm keeping that quiet.
You've had it happen a bit more at Champness, haven't you?
Champness Hall, it's been happening more and more, and I've been having more and more feelings from Mary, who's our resident spirit there.
And just no disrespect to Hannah upstairs, you've had a little bit with Hannah the other day.
Oh, Hannah. Oof, I better give her a mention before she starts throwing things again. So Hannah had an accident this year. Hannah is my haunted doll. I know, this time last year, I honestly didn't believe in haunted dolls. But she had an incident, didn't she? Which was awful. Basically ended up smashing her face up. And anyway, she's been retired now and she lives in our house. But don't let that fool you, because this afternoon actually, she's thrown my phone off the sofa because I hadn't given her attention in a few days and she didn't like what we had on television. So Hannah's new thing is to throw mobile phones, which is very new. But yeah, anyway.
I think a few honourable mentions. You've got Haunted Magazine with Paul, allowing us to do a little bit with him with the...
I'm trying not to go down the braggy route.
I'm not going to...
I'm being humble.
And then we've been asked to speak at... Conferences.
Yeah.
Just to get what we feel out there.
So we've only got a few minutes left. Jamie keeps us on a very tight schedule. Hey Jamie. So 2025, what are you looking forward to about 2025? Bear in mind that we've already got like 11 events in the first 3 months of the year. And they've all nearly sold out. That sounds braggy, I didn't mean that.
Not in that way.
No, I think just the continuation of exactly what we're doing and that trend of us being able to share the experiences that we have with more and more juniors, getting out there a bit more where people know that we're here and that we do offer this way of doing paranormal.
Yeah.
I think that the whole, and then obviously that in cooperation with haunted happenings.
Yeah.
And just the more exposure that we can get to being able to teach that there is a right way
to do junior
paranormal.
Yeah. I think one of my not so highlights of this year has been people stealing our content off our website. Anyone who has recently been on our website will see that it's plastered with copyright. We've had to do that because some unscrupulous people have copied and pasted stuff directly of it. And then there was one point when someone was actually using our name, which was quite annoying. But anyway, let's keep on the positive. Aubrey, what are you looking forward to 2025?
Working with haunted happenings and going to East Drive.
You like Vicky, don't you? Vicky's Aubrey's new best mate. Sorry, Jamie. Sorry, Marie.
Jamie and Marie, I'll still be best mates with you.
Finley, what are you looking forward to?
I'm just looking forward to some of the events.
Yeah,
next
new
year.
locations.
Not like the new locations. It's the ones that we've already been to that have been quite good.
Okay, cool. For me, I am looking forward to just seeing what happens. I think very much this year learned to just go with the flow and just embrace as many different opportunities as we can, and we're very honoured the things that have come our way. I said I wasn't going to go down the listing achievements route, and I'm not, but I think next year I'm just looking forward just to seeing where this next adventure is going to take us, really. Is there anything else anyone wants to add? We've got about 60 seconds. should we just finish by saying Merry Christmas, Happy New Year?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whether you celebrate Christmas or you're not, whatever you're going through right now, we are with you. We send you lots of spooky love, and we hope that you have a peaceful, restful, festive period, and we wish everybody lots of health and happiness for 2025. So shall we sign off there? Yeah.
Stay spooky.
Yep. So thank you for listening to our spooky adventures. We'll be back in 2025. And until then, stay spooky. Bye.
So that was the brilliant Junior Paranormal Events. And thanks to Gemma, Michael, Aubrey and Finley for doing that for me. I really appreciate it. I look forward to their stuff every month, along with the Common Mystics. Obviously they're not on tonight, but they will be back on soon. They're fantastic. I love having these people on. I got to say a huge thank you again to Junior Paranormal Events. And now we're going across to another fantastic person, and that's Jack-o'-lantern. And there's two stories he's having on with us tonight, and one's stories with his mum. So they're personal to him, so we thought we'd share that with you. And also his second story is called She Crawled Up the Walls. So here's Jack-o'-lantern with his mum as the start of his stories.
And then we left, I think, I don't know if it was 2000, 2001.
Yeah, I think I was 7.
So is that right?
Yeah. I remember my bedroom being at the end of that really long corridor as well. There was always freezing cold.
Yeah.
So what did you see on the stairs that time? That figure?
Well, I was coming up the stairs, and there's a little square part, and then there's about 3 or 4 stairs up. And I was on this part where the little square is. And,
yeah, it was like a bit of a landing, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then at the top, there's like a distorted crouch type of person. It's difficult to say.
Like a man or a woman, or you couldn't tell?
Couldn't tell.
Strange.
But I saw all the outline, and it was just sort of really uncomfortable. It was really like not a good feeling. But I did see with your knee, when you crouch on one knee and be up on the other one.
Yeah.
And it was just there, and it just seemed to be forever, like time had stopped. I was just staring at this thing. The next minute, it just seemed to be, I get up and go up the stairs, like it just
and
went.
It was gone.
And yeah, just carried on, like it was really weird.
It felt like in there as well, that at the end, the bedroom that I had, because it was always freezing, it was the scariest one as well. Obviously when me, Vanessa and Trish were sat on the bed, and we all heard the bird flapping behind the vent in there, and then obviously I started to unscrew it, take it off, and it was filled with all these cobwebs and skeleton of a bird behind it. All 3 of us remember hearing that, even still now.
Yeah.
And then the other occasion where there was the hundreds of flies all over the bedroom window. Do you remember the big blue bottles?
Yeah.
So I remember being little and having the water guns and spraying them.
Yeah.
And then the next day they were gone. And then were you reading one time, you seen a hand, did you say, come round the door?
Yeah. It didn't seem like one of our hands, like an ordinary hand. There was something like it was longer fingers and like a different colour skin.
Light.
Type of thing. Light, but like marked.
Like liver spots.
Yeah, like something not right about it. Just seemed to stare at it, and it just went again. Then there was always like a feeling like you'd hear noises, sounds of somebody in a room. You'd go in, there was nobody there. And like really, really cold but odd sensations, and that was in every room.
I had a recurring dream in that house when I was little as well. Actually, for a little bit of time afterwards, I still remember it now. During those dreams where you're moving in slow motion, you can't get away fast enough. But it was like that coming from the bedroom. I remember the figure was like longish hair and almost silvery type skin. I suppose thinking back now, it's probably like more of a grey really, and like yellowing eyes. But it was following me down the staircase, and obviously it was a big staircase in there, wasn't it? And like you couldn't get away fast enough, but it felt like that was walking faster. And that was one that I kept having in there as well. And obviously, as you know, I'd never sleep in the bedroom really at night, would I? I'd fall asleep at the top of the stairs.
Yeah, you'd have to carry her in.
Yeah, yeah. So what was the one where there was something about the door, the front door?
There was a dark figure on the glass. Like
you could
a
see
head.
it through the top?
I could see
the
scary. Head. I could see the shoulders, and it was all dark, but it was a figure.
So really tall then?
Really tall, I don't even understand that. And then there was 3, 1, 2, 3. So I went straight to the door. I don't know why.
I know, you were thinking back now.
Yeah.
I suppose there's a knock at the door, you do, but thinking that's scary.
And I just opened it. There was nobody there. I checked outside, shouted up everywhere, looked outside, nobody at all, anywhere. And it was just
really
so scary. I shut the door, and there was just like this weird atmosphere. And I even was looking in the place thinking,
what was it?
Say if I've gone there, if they come in, type of thing. But no, it was just like they'd vanished, and it's odd. But the knocking was sort of went through you, like it was really
unsettling.
spooky.
And it's funny because that house is obviously still standing now. Like I still see it sometimes because I work in that area, and I think to myself, do weird things still go on for whoever's there now and who has been since? Because it's been a while. And of course there was the thing on the day we left as well, wasn't there? You and my older sister seen something, didn't you? To both?
Yeah. We were standing. There was a bench. You had a large window here, and there was a bench that went round.
Oh, the big long bench that I used to hide under.
We were just standing there. The next minute, we seen this like a brown thing run into the living room, and even touched her leg because she went like that and felt.
And did you see it?
I did see it. I watched because she was there and I was here, and it sort of went in the middle, but we were close, and actually brushed past, and I felt the wind of it. But she said she felt like a brush against her leg. And to me, when I seen it, it looked very distorted, and it was a brown, like I'd put it down to maybe small cat, rabbit, that type of.
Yeah, and that sort of speed.
And it went under the bench, but obviously there's nowhere for it to go. We were seeing everything. I seen everything, and it just wasn't there. Nothing there at all.
And that's strange if 2 people experiencing that as well, isn't there? And it's you've had the odd things, haven't you, over the years in other houses, but that was the one where it sticks in my mind as being spooky, that house.
Yeah. Like you would hear movements in a room, and you knew there was nobody in there. Or you'd hear like very, very low, what sounded like a voice or voices. And
it was freezing, that bedroom that I had, wasn't it? It was always freezing cold, despite the heating being on and what have you. Oh well, we'll have to catch up on some more ghostly goings on from over the years, won't we?
We will, yeah, definitely.
The following ghost story was relayed to me by a now 80-year-old woman, and it's one that has really haunted me, so I want to share it with you all. Here's how it goes. I grew up as an only child in the rural Scottish countryside. Around the age of 7, my parents moved to an old Victorian house, a mile or so from the Highlands. I recall even as a little girl feeling the sense of isolation, it being so remote. I'm not sure when it started, but when my mother put me to bed, I would hear the sound of a woman humming through the wall. No other rooms were beyond the wall, and our house was completely detached. My parents thought it nothing more than fanciful tales from a child, making me feel all the more isolated. One evening, I went up to bed and found a porcelain doll laying by my pillow. She looked as though she had been recovered from a dusty old basement, forgotten to time. The doll made me uncomfortable, so I hid her in the wardrobe. Around 2 a.m. in the morning, I awoke to a pressure on the bed. There was the doll at the foot of my bed, staring right at me. As my eyes adjusted to the object against the faint moonlight, a female voice whispered into my ear, "Don't you like her?" Before a scream could even escape my throat, I saw her crawling up the wall. It was a skeletal thin woman with straw-like grey hair covering her face, wearing what looked like a white nightdress. She made her way up the left wall from where I used to hear the humming. As the woman unnaturally climbed onto the ceiling on all fours, which was an absolutely monstrous sight, her head span all the way round as she whispered, "I won't be alone anymore. Now I have you, child." With that, I screamed for my father and burst into my parents' bedroom. This time, they knew something was wrong. Father's answer was to remove the wall the following day, and being a strong Catholic man, place a Bible inside before rebuilding up. But during the works, as the old bricks were removed, a rotting skeleton in a white nightdress with grey hair lay behind, covered in dust and cobwebs. After a strong police presence at the house, it was determined it was the former owner of the home, a Mrs. O'Shannon. She had vanished in 1899, her husband claiming she had simply gone missing, and that was that. But clearly her spirit wanted to be found, and she chose me.
Well, we've come to the end of the show now, and I'd like to say a huge thank you to Haunted Scousers Chris Cummings and Adam Billings. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to Junior Paranormal Events, and also Jack O'Lanson for his last 2 stories of 2024. I'll be back again next week in the year 2025. So from here on Access Paranormal, have a great new year, enjoy yourselves, be safe. I'll see you again next week. Good night.